Welcome back to CasualBiasRugby. Let's talk about the URC. Obviously, it was a beautiful weekend of rugby. We had the Rugby Championship final weekend. We had the Premiership. We had Top 14. But obviously, the one that we are covering is the URC. And it was an absolutely scintillating weekend of rugby. Obviously, there's been a lot of stories this week. I spoke yesterday about the France thing. There's been the Johnny Sexton and Rico Ioane thing. But I just want to talk about what to look forward to, in the URC this coming. Talk about first and foremost what happened this weekend before we look ahead at round 3 of the URC. I hope you guys are all doing well. Please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Anyway, let's get into some franchise rugby. We started off last weekend with Glasgow taking on Benetton, and what an absolutely scintillating performance from Glasgow. Obviously, the ill discipline of Benetton is the thing that stands out. I think at one point there were 12 men on the field, but Glasgow so clinical. What a bounce back victory after losing, was it to Ulster in the first round? Massive victory for them. Obviously at home, we know how good their record is there. It's a tough team to beat there, but they absolutely smashed Benetton, to say the least. Next up, Leinster versus Dragons. We obviously expected Leinster to batter them, but I think Dragons kind of put up a good fight, especially in that first half, and then the second half, Leinster just blew them out of the water. So yeah, as expected, 34-6 in the end. Yeah, Leinster just dominant over them. Then we move on to the Saturday games. Lions that took on Ulster, and this was a great game. Like, you could see the heat was getting to the guys. Everyone just looked dead on the field. But you look at the Lions, they're probably the franchise in South Africa at the moment that plays the most beautiful running rugby. The attack is just so beautiful to watch. You look at the 10 that's just come into the Lions team. Obviously, he was there last season, didn't play much. I think he was still recovering from an injury, could be. But Kate Voliter, obviously this massive name when he finished school, got this massive contract, and I think it was Montpellier and Racing 92. Then COVID came and he couldn't fulfill his duties there. He came back to South Africa, got injured, knee injuries at like 19, 20 years of age, which is obviously a tough blow, or 21, I'm not even sure. I think he might still be like 22, 23 years old. But he played absolutely beautiful, and I wouldn't be surprised if we one day see the prime Cade Voliter coming back. Obviously, the deals that I spoke about in France was record deals. Like, I spoke to Brett on Safas Unscripted, and I didn't know this, but he was apparently he was identified as someone that could actually play for France. That's why they wanted to get him over. That just tells you the talent of this kid. Yeah, and he's a big boy. He plays his heart out. Obviously at fullback, Kuan Horn as well, one of the standout performers. Yeah, I'm going with, nearly just gave away my prediction. But a beautiful performance against Ulster. Ulster's no easy team to beat. I mean, Ulster just beat the defending champions literally the week before. So a massive, massive victory for the Lions. There's high expectations of the Lions. Obviously, they came close to getting into the playoffs last season. So obviously, they want to take that step forward and get into that playoff positions. So a massive victory for them. On with the Bulls versus Edinburgh, and I spoke about it earlier this week with Blissful, or Murray, as you guys might know him. And this was kind of the opportunity for Edinburgh. Like, they kind of had the Bulls on the ropes for a second there. And we know it's not easy to win at Loftus. They were in the lead with about, 12, 15 minutes to go. And then obviously the Bulls just came back and got the victory without their South Africans. A right way to start the season for the Bulls. Obviously, when you play a team like Edinburgh that came off a very good performance against Leinster, obviously they still lost it, but they were ready for this game to still get the victory at Loftus, get your account going. That is obviously a massive step forward for them. Zebra versus Munster. Obviously Zebra trailing at halftime with a massive victory over Munster. 42 points on Munster, who's a team that really focuses on their defence. Massive victory for them. We know they got the victory over the Sharks last season, and this is not to banter Munster or anything. I just think that Zebra were that good, and I just finally hope that we get to that point where it's like, okay, we are giving Zebra some credit. Now they need to kick on. I'm not saying they have to go and beat every single good team. I'm not saying they have to finish in the top 10. I'm not putting unrealistic expectations on them. But when we gave them credit last season, they just kind of fell through. They were an exciting team. We were talking about them. let's just hope they can kick on and actually put up a challenge against some of these boys and say, listen, when we play the likes of, for instance, the Dragons or the Scarlets, I'm just making examples of the teams that are usually there at the lower end of things, they can actually get victories over them as well. And it's not just like a one-off victory. So I really hope that they can keep playing this beautiful brand of rugby. And then, I mean, they could be an exciting team to watch. They are an exciting team. They just don't get the results. And when you put some credit on them, they just disappoint you the next weekend. I hope they disappoint us next weekend because they're actually playing against my team. But yeah, anyway, Scarlets versus Cardiff. Scarlets 15-0 in the lead. You thought, listen, okay, they're taking that momentum that they had in the second half against Benetton, bringing it over to this game. They were cruising. I think they scored within 20 seconds. Massive. But then they just left the game. They just decided we are done playing, and they let Cardiff back in, and Cardiff put 24 points on them and didn't concede a single point. And all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, okay, Cardiff got the victory away from home. Massive victory for Cardiff as well. I put some respect on Cardiff because obviously last season they were impressive. I hope they keep on impressing this season. Like, it's a team that's never really out of the game. As soon as you write them off, it's danger time. They have the potential to cause some damage, and that's exactly what they just did against the Scarlets team. Next up, the Stormers didn't play this weekend. Obviously, so yeah, the Stormers, they will only kick off in round 3, because I'm not counting this bullshit performance that we had against Ospreys. Like, holy shit. I'm not taking anything away from the Ospreys. They were good. The Ospreys were really good. At some patches, so that the Stormers were good. But just the creativity, we just offered absolutely nothing in creativity. The Ospreys, they were clinical and they just pounced on everything that we did. So brilliant victory for the Ospreys. Once again, the travelling woes for the Stormers. Just get Marnie back into this team. I almost said get Sasha back into this team as well. Obviously, he's out for at least 12 weeks. I've heard only at the end of the year, possibly. I've heard months as well, which is a scary thing. But like, I've put up so much hype with the Stormers in terms of saying, okay, well, people are writing us off, we're actually going to have a good season. And then the first game that we play, we lose to the Ospreys, 37 points to 24. We got nothing. We got nothing from this game. Ridiculous. And then another South African team, after we've won the Rugby Championship, no South African franchise won a game. Because then the Sharks game they played against Connacht, they're in the lead, bottled it. Connacht obviously taking some of that form that they had against Munster in that first game. I know they lost against Munster, but they put up a very good performance. Takes that form, takes it into the Sharks game, puts 36 points on the Sharks and comes away with the victory. And all of a sudden, it's just like, oh my goodness. The Sharks defending champions of the Currie Cup as well, but obviously they're getting back. You look at who's coming back. It's going to be Oxen Ched, it's going to be Vincent Koch, it's going to be Bongwe Manambi, Eben Etzebeth, Sia Kulisi, Grant Williams, Jaden Hendrickse, Lucanio Am. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Makazolo Mapimpi. I mean, it's scary. This Sharks team, they will impress, but they should have won this game, in my opinion. That is not a good look to be in the lead and throw it away like that. Not in your first game of the URC. We've got high expectations of the Sharks. And I want to come to you guys with a question, actually. On paper, in the URC, obviously it's between Leinster and the Sharks. Who's got the stronger lineup on paper? Like, surely it has to be the Sharks. So you have to put them up there in terms of what your expectations are. Since we've judged them, they've gone on to win the Challenge Cup. They ended the URC season very strong. They've won the Currie Cup. So they're probably on form, the best team in South Africa. High expectations for them. So it's not a good look to lose your first game, especially when you're in the lead, to Connacht. But yeah, not taking anything away from Connacht. I'm just talking about it from a purely South African perspective. That's a bottle job. Anyway, let's look at round 3 and we'll get into some predictions. Obviously, if you're a man like me and you do like to put your money where your mouth is, click the link in my bio. BETWAY, download the app. You can use code CASUAL, see what kind of promotions they offer you. I don't endorse it, but I do it. So I just thought maybe I'll help you out if you are someone that does stuff like that, like me. Anyway, round 3. Cardiff taking on Glasgow. I think Glasgow takes this form forward. I do like Cardiff, but they're not going to be strong enough for this Glasgow team. I think Glasgow takes some of this momentum from this Benetton performance into this one. I'm going Glasgow to get a 11-point victory. Scarlets to take on Connacht. I think Connacht just wipes them out of the way. Connacht by 15 points. They'll take some huge confidence from their last 2 performances. They'll want to get the results. They're looking good. They're playing some nice rugby, and they should be putting the Scarlets to the sword. Lions taking on Edinburgh. Beautiful game. I can already tell you this is going to be a nice game to watch. Obviously, Edinburgh, they would have acclimatized to the weather now. Still playing at altitude, but I've got the Lions. I'm backing the Lions. They're playing some beautiful rugby. I think they continue to do this. Yeah, backing the Lions, but just scraping over the line. I'm going Lions to take it by 5 points, but this being the game of the weekend. Bulls at Loftus once again taking on Ulster. Same with Ulster, as I said about Edinburgh. They would have acclimatized by now. But yeah, the Bulls will be strong. They'll surely get some of their big boys back that will be in the starting lineup or at least on the bench. You know it's tough to beat the Bulls at Loftus. I do believe Ulster could make it tight, just like Edinburgh did. But the Bulls should get over the line. I'm going Bulls to win this game by about 9 points. Benetton taking on Leinster. Benetton will think maybe we got some hope because we're playing in our home stadium, and until we probably see the Leinster lineup. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's out yet, but they'll probably play a kind of full-strength team. And then I'm going with Leinster to get the victory by 19 to 20 points, possibly. Dragons to take on the Sharks. I think the Sharks put a beating on them this weekend. The Sharks would have known they let it slip last weekend, and now it's damaged for the next weekend. So I'm going Sharks to win this game by 19 points. And the same thing goes to Munster. I'm not taking anything away from the Ospreys, but Munster will be hurting after that performance against against Zebra, and they'll want to bounce back pretty strong. They're playing at home as well. So I'm going Munster to take a 25-point victory. I think they run away with this game, and it's not to knock the Ospreys. I just think Munster, they will be a force to be reckoned with this weekend. Anyway, final game. The first game for the Stormers taking on a confident Zebra. Hopefully Zebra is overconfident. Damian Willemse to perform. Hopefully Marnie is back and Marnie can perform. As I said, I haven't seen any of the lineups. Marnie will probably not be playing. But surely, please, Stormers by 18 points. That's what I'm going with. And we get the bonus point. Just get our tally underway. We're sitting last on the log. We're sitting last. It's not good. Anyway, thank you. Let me know what your predictions are. Please do remember to like and subscribe. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Yeah, thank you.